Hey guys, and welcome to the Last Level Gamescast. I'm your host Jason. Alongside me is Phil. Say hi, Phil.
What's up, everyone?
And LeVar. Say hi, Var.
How's it going?
How you guys doing?
Good.
All
good.
right.
How's life? I don't know. Whatever. This is our podcast where we talk about video games and video game news and what do we think about video games. And yeah, right. So I guess we'll just jump right into it and get started with the news of the week so far. Not really too much craziness going on. So let's start off with the news from Engadget that we found. China handed over a hacker. I don't know why this is important, but you guys can elaborate on it for me.
So to me, I think that's a pretty big deal. Based on just China-U.S. relations, they're not even a little bit good. So it was a pretty big deal. They went in, they hacked a bunch of stuff, and the U.S. was like, "Hey, can you arrest them?" And China actually said yes and did it. That's a pretty big deal. With companies getting hacked, Sony, that kind of thing. Although I believe Sony came from Russia.
Yeah.
The actual attention on going after these people who are hacking is huge.
Yeah. I mean, it's more.
They didn't expect that kind of cooperation.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And it seems to be, something where you hear more and more about people hacking and, visiting sites, visiting systems that they're not supposed to be, and, putting little things in and be like, hey, just so you know, I was in your system.
Or Ashley Madison.
Or Ashley Madison.
Where lose everything. I mean, it's getting easier and easier, but it's cool that they actually helped and actually did something about it. Which for me, I mean, talking about a pipe dream, but for me, we're gonna talk about something else later. But I hope at some point patents mean something in China. But it's baby steps.
What's a patent? Like general patent? I don't think he means
baby
anything
steps.
over there.
Maybe this is one of those baby steps.
Yeah. Next topic on the list is we're going to talk a little bit about something interesting that I think for governments to come in and help. So UK's government has been supporting video game developers, smaller business ones. Now it's not a huge amount of money, but for smaller developers up and coming, I think it's cool to see the government understanding hey, this is a pretty big business that we can help out because it'll help our economy. So I thought that the fact that they're doing this kind of stuff will hopefully eventually have other people see how relevant that our industry is and things like that.
Well, on the flip side of that, remember that attempt that the American Army had making they sponsored a game.
Oh yeah, was that not Army?
America's Army.
Yeah, there's another one coming out.
Yeah, but that's in the broader scope of thing. That's probably the worst and most blatant way to do it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a gimmick, right?
UK is going for job simulation, tax simulation, that kind of stuff. That's what their end goal is. Because think about it, if I'm going to open a game studio, right? And let's say I already have, or let's say I'm in UK or buy UK, why the fuck not move to UK and try to get that money?
That's true.
Why not do
start
that
over there
instead of starting somewhere where you're just on your own and you don't have any money? Why not go to the place that gives you help?
Yeah. I think it's an interesting concept. I mean, it's they've been doing it, more and more, which is cool. I just hope they continue it. And like I said, I think it's something that helps the industry in itself because they're acknowledging hey, you can make money off of this.
And it gives it a little bit more validity in the eyes of people who don't quite see it that way yet.
Yes. Yeah. Talking about validity, another piece of news that we're going to talk about is esports. Just briefly, there's a lot of tension, if you will, about esports and stuff like that. But even Coca-Cola, a company known for soda, is
that what they sell?
Yeah,
they sell soda.
I think. They're getting in on sponsoring Esports Weekly and things like that. I know VAR, you saw that on IGN and everything. But it's just another, you get all these, League of Legends tournaments. And I mean, there's a lot of money in those tournaments. It's crazy how much money, even more and more you're hearing the numbers for the first prize, second prize. It's not like it's, I mean, I went to a tournament and it was you win $500. I'm like, ooh.
You also weren't on ESPN, I'm assuming.
Yes, get a $30 gift card to Texas Roadhouse. Ooh. But everybody's, not everybody, but there's a lot of people that see video games as a waste of time and things like that. But obviously, there's a competitive side to it that I think is sometimes a little misunderstood. And I think the fact that bigger companies are sponsoring these things and saying, like the same way the UK government is, we validate you, like you said, Var. I think it's goes a long way. They just got to continue it. They can't let people detract that.
Well,
you know what I mean?
The thing to really keep in mind is that popularity dictates everything.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason that there have been talks before, like certain personas have said that they won't endorse or commentate on esports.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason it's brought up is because it has that level of popularity where it's something to consider.
Yes.
Is even on a sports network where you're not seeing until the Olympics come around a lot of events that are considered sports being aired.
Like ice curling, right? Like
yes, these are things that go on, but
yeah.
Until we have a national interest, we kind of pretend they don't exist. Popularity dictates everything, and if it grows in popularity, it'll have to be covered more.
Yeah, and I think the important thing to take from it is, you just got to continue to keep, building brand awareness, because like it's one of those things where I think it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to get bigger, and I'm going to tell you, if they can put poker on ESPN, then they might as well put video game competitions.
It's all about popularity.
Yeah, and I mean, I think poker's came and went, but it had a good run. It had a good
They're
run.
Still on though, like all the time. They still have that stuff.
Mostly
late night, but
at night, right? Yeah.
I think we need. So poker had like everything has like its moment.
Yeah.
Like that one thing that all of a sudden people normally like wake up and they're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And I think gaming just needs that moment.
Yeah.
Well, poker, the real thing with poker is that for the longest time, people thought that push was going to get it legalized completely online. And that didn't happen.
Yeah.
No.
And with video games, they're not illegal.
Yeah.
Right.
So that popularity branches over from the generation who has it now. Children can enjoy it. It's a demographic you can tap into.
And it's got a range.
Yes.
It's got a huge
especially
range.
Especially for the sports market, they're not necessarily the same people. You can bring in a whole new audience and bust open the door on the entire gaming market if you're quick enough to get to it.
Yeah, and you talk about like being big enough and everything. Like, just imagine they could get their own channel, like television channel. You know what I mean? Like of just sports competition, like esports competitions. It wouldn't be like out of the realm. I mean, a lot of people use Twitch for that anyways already, and YouTube gaming and everything. But still, that option could be there for them down the road. They'll be behind the 8 ball because like not a lot of people that watch that stuff will go to ESPN to watch it. But I think it's funny. They tested like that kind of stuff a while back. Do you guys remember the Madden show?
They still have it.
Yeah.
They still see. That's the thing.
Madden shows.
I don't watch TV that much.
And it comes on weekly, and they'll show you updates, and they'll fill you in on
where the guys go to play like at Times Square, like the last. No,
not the competition. The actual show about the Madden game, where every week they show you roster updates, like who's stats.
Oh no, I didn't mean that. No,
I know you meant the competition.
Yeah, you remember? I forgot what it's called, like Madden Nation or something like that.
Madden Nation.
Yeah. Right. Do you remember? Like, I used to love that. Because I was a gamer. I love sports. I love Madden. And to see those two merge and to see like, I'm okay at Madden. Yeah. And a lot of the stuff I learned, I watch them and I watch how they look at, the way the games play and everything. So, I just think it's going to continue to grow. The ball's going to keep rolling, and gaining speed and everything. So I'm excited about it. Next thing we're going to talk about, and Phil, I think you brought this up, you saw it on GameSpot, was the PT style horror game Allison Road, which was public. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it started as a Kickstarter. It got a ton of funding through Kickstarter. I believe it met its goal, surpassed it.
What was its goal? Do you remember? Like, how high up was it?
The dollar amount. Yeah.
What was it?
It was a solid goal. Like,
it was 300-something thousand.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was pretty legit, but they were past it.
Yeah.
But they've decided to go back, take away the Kickstarter money, give people their money back, and they're actually going to go with a private company and get published through the traditional means. This I'm really excited for because it's supposed to be like that PT, the PT demo in that style. And I actually saw some, I want to say on Twitch, I think someone played part of it that I had watched, and it looked freaking great. Like what you can interact with, the environment they can put you in, really like just the overall feel for it.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a great horror game, so I'm really excited to see what they can do. But I also think it's interesting that they left Kickstarter for this and didn't do it as like
their own thing.
Well, not but like in addition to Kickstarter. Because a lot of times people will use Kickstarter games to get Kickstarter, but another company still helps them, right?
Okay.
That's Sony's trying to do with what they got on E3 was Shenmue 3.
That's Xbox, isn't it?
No,
for Shenmue 3? Yeah, it's being kickstarted. Yeah.
Was that the one PlayStation got on?
No, that's Xbox.
What was the one PlayStation got on during their E3 press conference? And they're like, "Go do this Kickstarter now."
I don't remember.
Whatever. They did it for a game, and yet Sony's going to give it money and publish it. They've done the same with oh god, there's another game. They did the same deal, whereas these people completely came off Kickstarter. So I don't know if there's a reason they backed off Kickstarter. Maybe they weren't going to hit some of the same goals. Maybe they have different things in mind, but I'm excited to see that if they can actually get this game to go all the way through.
Yeah, I think a lot of it will be dictated by which publisher I don't know if they say which publisher they're gonna like go with.
Team
yeah,
17.
I'm trying to find it real quick. Yeah, was that it?
Yeah.
What is it?
Team 17.
Do you know what else they made? Phil, can you check that out? Because the only reason I bring that up is because generally when you what?
It made Worms.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, either way, it wasn't a bad game.
No, I like Worms actually.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad game.
Play it.
It's fun to play with people.
73 on Metacritic.
There it is. I just think that sometimes it depends on the publisher and how much leverage or freedom they'll let you get with your game. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna be like, hey, we're gonna support you with this, but we have certain parameters, and as long as they can keep their core, you know, the core aspects of what makes their game, like what makes it so unique and what makes it theirs is gonna dictate, I think, how well that game is. Because I think also like they probably want to make it bigger and make it better, so they figure with the help of a publisher, okay, we have more resources here and everything. Yeah. So it's not a bad thing. It just worries me when they had a specific vision in mind and they had all the resources I guess they thought they needed, but obviously maybe they wanted more resources.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen after that?
Well,
what I mean?
The thing they kept referring to in the article, at least, was the experience.
Yeah. It's a big thing. No, I get that. Yeah.
And it was Shenmue 3 for PS4.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Announced that Tony's E3 stage.
Because I always associate Shenmue with Xbox.
No.
Which is funny.
That was them.
Yeah. All right.
Your associations are wrong.
I know. I'm such a fanboy.
Yeah, you are. God, you are.
Next topic on the list is going to be, so I know you guys haven't played Until Dawn. Oh, you just started, right?
Well, it's literally, I put it in to load it, and then life happened.
Okay.
And it's waiting for when we're done that I'm literally going to go try to play some hours of it.
So I will tell you, I reviewed it on our website, but it is a awesome experience. It really is. Like, it's very unique. It takes all the good things about Heavy Rain. I didn't play, what's the other one? Soul. The other game that
Murdered Soul Suspects? Was that
not that one? No. It's the one with Willem Dafoe in it and Ellen Page.
Beyond Two Souls.
Yes, that one. I didn't play that one because it didn't look like it had the same core functions that attracted me to Heavy Rain, and the story looked weird as shit, and it didn't get good reviews.
Ellen Page.
Yeah, but Heavy Rain did get good reviews, and this game really caught me by surprise. I had a really good time with it. And now Supermassive Games, now they're thinking about making a sequel for Until Dawn, which, my first reaction was like, how can you make a sequel to that game? But it doesn't necessarily need to be, well, because it's all based on your experiences. So your experiences won't be the same as mine, I guarantee you.
Right.
But at the same time, they don't necessarily need to make a direct sequel. They make another version of this. And I think the important thing to take out of what the game they made is that there's a lot of games out there that try to blend a good story in with horror, and it ends up being either too story driven and you lose that aspect of being afraid, or it's just trying to make you like scared by popping things out all the time, and it just feels too gimmicky. They had such a good blend that I think about games like Resident Evil that have just completely strayed from what they are.
They're not even
right, and I'm thinking, how does this happen? And I'm excited. I don't know if they're actually going to do it. It's still like way down the pipeline. Even if Supermassive Games decides to do something else, I think that they're going to be successful. But it was interesting.
So here's my question though. So when would you want a sequel?
I would say.
So are we talking like? Is this something like
3 years?
So that's what I'm saying.
3 years.
You can't pop this every year and it's still magic and stuff. No. You got to have like 2, 3 in between, right?
Yeah. I definitely think that. If let's say they do. 2015. Yeah, it comes out 2017. Early 2018. Yeah, I'll be ready for it. You know what I mean? That's definitely something that I'm interested in. And Phil, you got to tell me what you think of that game. Like,
I wanted to put hours in, but yeah.
It's definitely it's like a 10, 11 hour game, I'd say, unless you really like what do you call it? Fuck up and everybody dies right off the bat.
I was gonna say,
spoilers.
I've heard like people do numerous playthroughs just because of like they made a stupid decision or a decision that they made thinking it was like, oh, this is the right thing I want to do, and then by the end they don't have a certain person with them, and they're like, what the fuck?
And it saves right away. It saves right away.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do your back and forth. So
it's really funny.
I'm excited to jump into it.
Yeah. Moving on to the next piece of news, Bethesda is concerned. Look, is their word via GameSpot. They're concerned about Battlecry.
Yeah.
Which is it's just I don't know. I don't even know what to make of it other than the game's canceled. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's canceled. Yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
Because why bring it up? Why talk? Why?
Yeah.
What's the what?
See?
See? It wasn't like in the middle of an interview about the game, or it wasn't any of that stuff. They're like, hey, just so everybody's aware, we're worried about this game. Like, it wasn't. I don't know. It was funny.
I guess the flip side of it is it's better that they're upfront about it than like pulling a Last Guardian with like, hey, it still exists. It's still
let
around.
It take to the background. Let everyone stop talking about it. Nobody talk about it. And then 2 E3s from now, some asshole will be like,
"Where's Battlecry?"
And then you'd be like, "Oh man, right?" And then it's gone forever. Who cares?
No.
Last Guardian, everybody cared about that.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I hated those games, but it just wasn't for me. It's not my type. But just let it fade to the background. You don't have to say that.
No, but I'm glad that they're being honest about like the situation and everything. And Bethesda, I don't think is known for, like committing to something and then not being upfront about like where it stands with everything. Like, we know kind of to expect a fallout at a certain point. We know without them saying it, like, we expected fallout. Like, let's be honest, Fallout 4.
No, nobody went into this E3 being like, hey guys, what do you think Bethesda's gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
So Doom was a surprise for me.
Which, can I say, like,
but they talked about that before
for a while. So I bought Wolfenstein when it first came out, and it came with a code for the Doom beta.
Yeah.
Which they're just now talking about again.
Well, that's a win.
You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think I'd be able to find my.
I lost my code. Like,
I have no idea what that was.
Like, I lost my fucking code.
Ooh, I bought mine off Steam. I wonder if I have an email.
Maybe.
I'll have to search Wolfenstein in my Gmail to see if I can come out with a beta code.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I'm excited about it. But, I just stuff like that pisses me off. It's
It
like,
should just be,
don't talk about it.
Allowed to your account.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you
But
load it up and bam.
Yeah, and
That's what E3 is, though.
no, I get that.
E3 is the hype machine at its prime.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really have anything done, but we've got this little video, and we're ready to show it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have to, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the biggest problem. Like, sometimes you don't know what the mechanics of getting this dream done will be.
Yeah.
When you want to show people what the dream looks like.
Yeah. Well, Final Fantasy VII is like a perfect example of kind of like just throwing it in there. Just
or Final Fantasy 13 Versus. Oh, I mean Final Fantasy 15.
That's not
I
a
was
thing.
gonna say the one they changed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you see the there was like a DLC for Final Fantasy 12, LeVar, that just never happened?
That's dope.
It was like they had it all like kind of planned out,
Yeah.
and everything was like a new world and stuff like that, and it fell through. And now like information about that just came up. Like I saw it on GameSpot like last week or 2 weeks ago, and it's, you know, it is what it is, but it's just like one of those things, like you're reading it and you're thinking, why couldn't this be a thing?
Yeah.
You know, but it happens, you know, with all their, you know, all their focus on their, you know, MMOs and stuff like that, because that means they had Final Fantasy, what's the one that came last, what's the Final Fantasy that was
14?
the one before that?
13
No, 13 was a game. Final Fantasy 11, I think it is.
was the online.
Yeah, so they had that going, and then they were building towards Final Fantasy 14 at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then Final Fantasy 14 failed miserably, and they literally had to redo it.
Yeah, it's like Reborn or something, you know?
Yeah, so true story. I beta tested Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
And to say it was painful is like the biggest understatement ever. Like, it would take you 17 menus just to equip the sword you found. Like, it was terrible. Like, the most non-user friendly experience my entire life.
That kind of game is the worst thing in the world, because it's finally got the sword equipped.
Yeah.
Hey, a new sword.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't want to play this game anymore.
Half an hour later, I got my sword equipped.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, man. And then like there were so many problems. I was so happy when they're like, we fucked up. We're gonna try this again.
Well, we'll fix it. And, I mean, they did.
Way better.
Yeah. And it definitely has its following.
Now.
Huh?
There's a lot more competition now.
Yeah.
The major move to free to play and that kind of stuff, and a lot of games coming in that are like, I would say almost like niche games. So people like are drawn to that instead of like going into one game and then that game having everything you want it to have.
Yeah.
There's more like niche going on with free to play right now.
Yeah. But what about like when you talk about like those niche games and stuff like that, would you consider like a game like you know, DayZ or H1Z1, because those are kind of like MMOs a little bit, right? I mean,
so they have an MMO aspect to them that you can choose to do, or they also have like the battle royale, which is so popular through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would pretty much be it. I mean, MMO at this point, all you really need is a sustained open world.
Yeah.
That you then go into and affect upon.
And have a guild.
An alliance or clan or it's a guild.
It's cool.
I mean, it's there, so yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't be one.
Yeah. That's good. So next couple things we're going to talk about, a little thing, you know, near and dear to my heart, some Star Wars stuff. Okay.
Happened.
Yeah, let's talk about the beta. Phil, what did you think of the beta?
It was good. Solid beta.
Yeah.
It wasn't a beta. Can we just get that out of the way?
What did you think it was?
It was just a demo. It was a hype demo. That's
well, and it was a stress test.
It wasn't a beta. It was everybody get hyped for our game. It's coming out soon. They need to make it stand out against Halo, against Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, let's get everyone to play it. They just reported 9 million people played, which is huge.
It's their record, right?
Yeah.
Imagine it. It's their record.
It was good.
So I can already tell that you've taken some time to think about this, because when we were playing, you were feeling the hype train. You were feeling it.
Oh, it was fun. So got into some of the flying vehicles, and that was dope.
Oh, so much fun.
Flying, shooting guys down.
We were owning the skies.
Yeah, we did. I think part of the problem, and they admitted it, is the one map they had you play is just fucking. You can do it. You can win as rebels, but like, it was damn near impossible because if 5 of your guys didn't understand what you were supposed to do,
yeah,
you just lost.
Yeah.
There was a video of that on Kotaku. The guy who took down 2 walkers.
Yeah.
And immediately afterwards, his team lost because it was just too late. Like they just annihilated them. But he was skilled.
Yeah.
It just amounted to nothing.
Yeah, it has a bit of a learning curve, that Walker assault mode.
Learning curve.
Yeah, but I think, I got to see more, because I'm wondering, like, is Walker assault going to be on multiple maps? Is it going to be like...
Is that only map?
You know what I mean? Like, well, here's the thing, though. I think it teaches you to play a different way, like that kind of mode, which is fine, but I don't know if it's going to be those things where even when you learn it, it's still going to be unbalanced. You know what I mean? Like, that's something, because it did feel a little unbalanced to be the Rebels.
They came out and said it. They were like, hey, so we noticed that this is screwed and like we really fucked it up and it's way unbalanced.
Yeah.
Rebels don't have much of a chance.
So that DICE has like a bunch of QA people, right? Like they have to.
They do that already.
So how the fuck doesn't anybody see that?
No, they knew it already.
Yeah.
But I think at that point they're like, well, we can either, because honestly they might already have a new build of it.
Yeah.
But I think they're looking at it like, well, we can release a stable build that is a demo and a hype train, or we can release the build that we're working on that still might not be perfect or whatever. They're going to release the stable one, right? They're going to.
I'm really worried.
Okay.
That this game is rushed. I said that like, I don't know, a couple podcasts back. I think that it's going to have issues.
I don't know. It had really good polish. It looked really freaking good.
No. One potential issue that I saw brought up a lot is content. Like, how much do you think is going to actually be to this game?
Well, I mean, that's the interesting thing. Like,
especially how they're already telling you about the season pass.
Yeah, so that's the next thing. Like, the season pass is $50, which that's what Battlefield 4 was. Battlefield 3, you get 4 pieces of DLC with it.
By comparison,
you get 2 things early.
The end product for those Battlefields was ridiculous in comparison to what you got day one.
Oh, 100%. That's the thing that concerns me. People are either going to buy it or not. Mm-hmm. I made the mistake of buying Batman Arkham Knight's DLC, which, I regret, but I like Rocksteady. Like, I'm happy to give them my business, and I believed in them for it, but they did I felt kind of gypped. Battlefield 3s I bought, I loved. I loved everything they did with the the premium edition and stuff like that. Battlefield 4s, I didn't like it as much. I felt it was a little bit more bare. So it depends, really. Yeah, we won't know until it comes out, right? I'm still on the fence about whether or not, but I'm probably gonna buy it more than likely. Just because, it is what it is. I need to have it, and it sucks because that's a weird situation to be in. But, it's where it is.
So I'm on PC Gamer right now, and it's saying they're up to 9 modes. For the base game. Some of the ones they just talked about is a 7-on-1 hero hunt. So it's going to be 7 against the 1 hero.
Okay.
And then a 6v6 capture the flag, basically.
Yeah.
And then a 6v6 capture the flag, but the flag is a droid that moves.
Yeah. I saw that. So I'm wondering how that 7v1 works.
Probably like Evolve.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Well, remember, what was that game type in Halo?
King of the Hill?
Yeah. Was it?
Was it King of the Hill? Where one person, what's it called?
Buffed out of their mind.
Yeah, I think it is.
And you had to kill them to...
And then you took it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, it might be like that. Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. It might be... Because I'm thinking you stay as the hero, but maybe you don't. Could be right.
That would be either painfully long or...
Yeah. I just don't see it working. Yeah. So there's 9 modes. We got to wonder how many of those are going to feel different from each other. We played the wave mode, like the I don't know if they're just talking about multiplayer modes, right, Phil? Those 9 modes.
So hold on one sec. I just went to their website and pulled them up really quick so we can talk about them. They have that. So they're going to have a fighter squadron, and that's going to be their vehicle combat in the air. Like you are in a
and none of it's in space. How stupid is that?
No.
They are there. They have Supremacy. Rebels and Imperials fight to control 5 key points in an intense 40-player clash.
So that's Conquest.
So that's going to be ground and air vehicles, so both.
Yeah.
And then they have Cargo. It's a tug-of-war experience for fans. Capture the flag gameplay. So you got to capture cargo boxes from each other. Droid Run, which is the one we just talked about, 66, and you got to get the droid.
Yeah.
The Walker Assault, which was the beta.
Yeah.
Blast, which is your team deathmatch. Looks like it's going to be 10 on 10. Drop Zone, which was also in the beta, which you have to capture the drop pods.
It's kind of like headquarters in Call of Duty, where it moves around. Like you get the headquarters, you keep it for a long time, then it moves away. That's basically what it is.
And then heroes versus villains. So you're going to have heroes and villains on your team. You have to help keep them alive, and that actually gives you points. And then Hero Hunt, which is going to be the 7 Imperials against like Luke or 7 Rebels against Boba. And then you kind of go from there.
So it's some good variety, some decent variety.
I was going to actually say, you know what? That actually doesn't sound that bad.
Yeah.
Those all sound pretty different. I think the biggest one, Supremacy and Walker Assault, sound the closest to each other.
Yeah.
Because it's just large-scale battles.
Yeah.
Who else is doing a 20-on-20 battle? Like, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Did they...
What?
Have they said how many maps yet? They haven't disclosed that yet, right?
Nope. They haven't said if these are on set maps, different maps. They haven't said any of that yet.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Because I think when we talked about it like a couple podcasts ago, I have to check. But I think we mentioned... I thought it was around 9. I think that was 9 or 10, maybe.
Maps?
Yeah, to start. It might even, I think it might even be like 7. It wouldn't surprise me if it was like 7 maps.
I would assume they'd have 9 for 9 modes. They'd have at least 9.
You think so?
Yeah.
It would not surprise me if there was 7 and then they released like an extra 2 or 3 on the first map expansion.
So did you hear the other part? The other part of news that just came out was that there will be no native chat support.
Oh, did not know that. So it's just party chat you have to be in there?
So you'd have to be in a party chat. Or through, if you're on PC, there's a million different things to chat on.
Yeah.
But there's no native chat support, which is good and bad. I think in those large battles, that's good because holy fuck, I do not need 19 of my teammates saying they slept with my mom.
A lot of people don't talk like that anymore. Like, it's weird. I'm being dead honest.
They get salty and then they start saying words. But I think like 7-on-1, I would kind of want to talk to my teammates and be like, hey, he came over here. Hey, he's over there. Or even smaller, like 6-on-6s.
Yeah.
I think that talking to your team is going to be important.
Yeah. I mean, the only other like a couple pieces of news that came out this week in terms of Battlefront was so there's no microtransactions in this, which, you know, is what it is, really. Yeah, it's a good thing, you know. No. What?
I will say it's a good thing. I'm saying it's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And then the resolution that came out, right?
Yeah, like.
So Xbox pushing 720, PS4 pushing 900.
Yeah. Which I feel like, you know, it continues to be like that situation with, you know, certain games, just the Xbox can't push it because what was it? You mentioned like the technical stuff, like the hardware and stuff like that takes away from some of that.
Yeah, some of the stuff we do with Kinect and some of the different ways the GPU works will take away from the ability to render what it needs to. The bigger thing is, does it matter? Yes and no. A lot has to do with draw distance, so how far away you can see an enemy will actually be better on the PS4 than it will be on the Xbox One. It'll be even better on the PC. But I mean,
no one plays games on PCs.
Yeah, I didn't. So you're gonna have best experience on PC, and I think that's actually flat out because it's 1080.
Yeah.
But the other part of that is I wonder how much of this is due to PS4 being the main push behind Battlefront. I wonder if PS4's, marketing push and money that they put into it, I wonder if they help them optimize and they help them do that kind of thing to make it better on the PS4 and above the Xbox One.
Yeah, well, it could be. But also, like, I don't know I can't remember what other games were, but there was a couple other games that came out like that where it was like the resolution was a little bit better on the PS4.
Yeah. So the way it originally started, Xbox One said that you had to use the Kinect with your games, and they had to at least be able to be supported through it. And when that was the case, yeah, everything was coming 720 on the Xbox One and 900 PS4. Ever since Microsoft backed off from that, they've been able to match resolution for most games.
Yeah.
Because they can use that processing power to get there. You're right. There was a really big game that they had a last minute push and got the Xbox version to 900.
Yeah.
I can't remember the game, but
I
want
can't remember.
Going into the winter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. There's so many. I don't know.
Some people it does.
It does. You're right.
Yeah, to some people it does. It doesn't matter to me. Like
PC Max, it does. So to me, I hate every part of it, and I'm just gonna burn my console.
No, you're not.
Yeah. Take the Xbox outside and shoot it because it couldn't live up to my standard.
Yeah. Yeah. You haven't done that yet, so I don't think you're gonna do it.
Hey, did you notice you're wearing blue and I'm in green today? Is that on purpose?
Yeah, but it's Captain America.
Oh, whatever.
I mean, I guess he would be a supporter of PS4. No, that's not American.
No, he probably would.
No, it's not American.
He's a terrible person, but that's
people like you.
Yeah, I know how bad Captain America is.
So
teaching kids to shoot drugs into themselves, and then maybe they'll become a hero.
It was radiation, by the way.
That's worse.
Harder to get a hold of, though.
Yeah, I guess.
Back on point.
Kind of something we, have talked about since the release of the PS4 and Xbox One, the new generation systems or current gen, was, who was kind of winning, I guess, quote unquote winning, and, Phil Spencer, guy running Xbox, who I think is awesome. I think he's,
he's doing so much better. Yep.
Yeah, he's so, he looks so down to earth and everything. Huge fan of him. He's talking about, that whole concept of who's winning, and he says he says that Sony has a huge lead with the PS4, but he's focused on, his product. Yep. What do you guys think about, I know you guys kind of looked at the article and everything from Polygon, the same one I'm talking about. But what did you guys think about it? Do you like what he said? Do you think he's wrong? How you feeling?
I think it was a good answer.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it was a real good answer. I can't imagine him. Imagine the fallback if he gets up there and says, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
Sony's not doing as well as you guys think.
Yeah.
We've got this generation in the bag. No, he dealt with facts, and that's the biggest fact you have to deal with.
Yeah.
You have to acknowledge the fact that you just started this generation, and Sony's doing really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think he's shown that he's willing to do what he needs to make Xbox successful. Being that he walked into it, past the point where it was done. You know what I mean? It was already the concept was already there and everything.
Concept he came in past.
Yeah.
He's past that whole botched launch.
Yeah.
E3, all that had nothing to do with him.
I know. Yeah.
The only thing that did kind of concern me though is with the end of that, he acknowledges, Sony's doing good, but when he starts talking about his product, he kind of pushes that idea, and I don't want to talk about Sony ever again.
Yeah. Well, he probably has to talk about it all the time, though.
That's probably why he made this comment, though, right? Yeah. Because at this point, instead of having to answer, what do you think about Sony 50 million times with a no comment, he's just like, hey, this is what it is. We're going to focus on games. This is our game plan. Have a great day. Now people bring it up. He's like, been there, done that. Next question. You know what I mean? Yeah. It doesn't have to become a reoccurring theme every time he's trying to shine spotlight on Xbox. It makes sense.
Yeah, and I think a bigger part of that, too, is he wants to see how this fall goes before he,
so huge.
It's weird. It's like everything is riding on this, and But
Better drop the price $50.
Yeah, yeah. I think Phil Spencer and Shuhei are kind of cut from the same cloth, where they're all about what they're doing. They're not too they're worried about each other, but like
they're aware.
Yeah, they're aware of it, but they have a respect for each other. Like they're they're for making games and video games in general and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, it is a business, but I think he's banking on the success of the fall, which I think they're going to have a very successful fall. You know what I mean?
Also, the big thing we have to remember when we look at this is Microsoft's beating itself, right?
Yeah.
So it's beating the 360.
Yeah.
So maybe beating PS4. He even says it a little bit where he's like, look, we're going after ourselves. We just need to be better than we were before. That's what we're looking for. And I think he has a point. Yes, PS4 is doing better than that, and they are obviously beating what they were. But if you look at it from the sense of like they're doing better than they ever have, like holy shit. And then the same idea that if PS4 does good, that's good for everybody, right? Because the more people that play games, the more potential customers Microsoft has. Because this generation will get to the point where each console is $200, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not there, but it will get there.
Yeah.
And even if it's later in life, if Microsoft still sells consoles to those people and back games and things like that, they still win. They still make their money. They still get their deals, So I think it's refreshing to see how level-headed he was and how just honest he was with it. So that'd be cool to see that kind of continue.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I'm really excited to see how this entire fall Christmas season just pans out. And there's so many games. There's so many games.
There's too many.
Speaking of games and Xbox, let's talk a little Halo. It's right around the corner, so I thought this would be a good time to kind of see what you guys think about the trailers you've seen so far. Talk about some of the news that came out about Halo, and. One little thing I didn't mention, earlier is I want to know what you guys think this game is like. What rating you think this game is going to get? You think it's going to get a 9? Do you think it's going to be like? How well do you think this game is going to come out? The trailers are deceiving. Yes. The trailers are so deceiving.
Yes. First of all, the trailers.
Yeah.
Let's not forget this is the same brand that had a movie about a game coming out. They know how to promote their product.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the fact that we haven't seen a top tier Halo movie makes no sense.
Yeah,
but
with those commercials that they made, those live action commercials.
It makes no sense. Yeah. But their marketing is just so gorgeous. Like
it is. That Hunt the Truth thing.
Oh,
I love it.
Brilliant.
I love it.
And this time around, I heard it's even better than the first.
Oh yeah, I haven't listened to the second season, the second part of it. I only listened to the first, and that was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah.
That's got me.
Yeah.
So, in all transparency, I have it pre-ordered.
Interesting.
I think it's gonna be. I think it'll be a solid 9. I really do think so. I think that. Well, it's contingent on day one multiplayer. If their multiplayer does not buckle like the Master Chief Collection did, it's a 9.
Yeah.
If it buckles, it's going to be like an 8.
Yeah.
Do you think Warzone is going to work right off the bat?
It's not available right off the bat.
Okay.
Warzone's not?
Warzone.
When's Warzone available?
Like a month from release.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, it's fine. There's people are, like it's not.
I get you, but that when you look at that.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I saw. Just like wow, they can really if you can establish a PvE PvP at the same time.
At the same damn
right?
time.
Yeah.
Boba.
It's a MOBA. It makes it into a MOBA where you have a meta game within it where you kill PvE characters and then move on to PvP and whatnot. I think though that.
But on that scale, I just haven't seen it.
No.
It'll be very interesting. I think that
trying to grab something. Sorry.
I think they'll be able to do it. I really do. I know the Master Chief was like a huge fuck up, that collection.
Yeah.
But that was so different, and it was like what they tried to accomplish and do was so different. No company has ever tried to accomplish what they did, and since they fucked up so hard, nobody's gone back to it.
Yeah.
Nobody's tried to look at the Uncharted collection. They're like, hey guys, here's all the games. By the way, we took out the multiplayer because we saw how bad that fucked up, and we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but they don't have as big of a. I also think they did it because they don't have as big of a.
Right, they don't have as big as a following.
For multiplayer especially.
Right. But
You
what
know?
I'm saying is, if it was easy to do or easier to do, they would have included it anyway.
Yeah.
But I think the Master Chief Collection showed them that it ain't fucking easy.
Well, especially when you have, like, I don't know, however many people bought the Master Chief Collection just to play Halo 2 again on multiplayer, and because, you know, they were going to get the beta code and everything. There's a lot of people trying to play that game all at once when it first came out. They probably didn't anticipate it, even though you should, like, have a rough estimate, I would assume,
Yeah,
but
so the problem is
you can't test all those servers.
Well, no, it all comes down to dollars and cents, right? So if I make it so 200 people can't play right at launch, but I saved $4 million in server space, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why they run into the server problem. I think after a giant fuck up like they had, they're not. I don't think that's an issue anymore. Like, I don't think they're gonna penny pinch like that because they know that this is their last chance to get people back to Halo.
Yeah, that's true.
There's that, and there's the fact that this is the flagship for this fall.
Yeah.
Well, it's Forza.
That's not a flagship for this. I mean, it moves consoles, yes, but nowhere near on the stratosphere that is Halo.
Yeah, but what's Halo anymore? Halo doesn't have the mystique it did.
But it has a following.
Do you remember Halo 3?
Yeah.
We wouldn't even be having a discussion about if we think it's going to be a 9. Are you kidding me? The hype and the system seller that Halo 3 was, people lined up like it was a fucking Apple product. There wouldn't even be a talk.
Well, because they were under the impression that was going to be the last one, which you shouldn't have felt for that. But
whenever they try to push the conclusion of a saga, that alone gets people going bananas because they won. Remember, that was the entire campaign line. It wasn't like, exactly, finish the fight.
No. I get that 100%, but I'm saying since then, Halo has not had its prominence, has not had the same mystique.
But then, think about that for a second. Halo 4 is, well, you kind of finished the fight.
Yeah.
But you didn't finish the fight.
Yeah.
That alone is kind of like, and remember how it was put to us. So, brand new enemies, nothing explained about them. How much are you banking on the fact that they look kind of cool?
Yeah.
Because at first, you got the success of Halo 3 because you established yourself with 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You knew exactly what you were doing and why.
Right.
With 4 was kind of like, well, look at the Master Chief.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think, as much as we want it to, the new Halo carries as much weight as they used to.
But I think that's, like I say it again, their advertising for this is so good.
Well, I'm not even thinking that. I'm thinking that you're going into this second year of your console. So people are really going to start looking at, besides the early adopters, you're going to get more of a market now that the price is down a little bit. It's a big game that people know. It's a little bit more, I think it's a T-rated game always, right? Pretty sure it's T-rated. So yeah, you'll have more of a audience. I would say it might be.
Oh no, Halo 4 was M.
Yeah, this one might be M too. They weren't always though.
You got a lot of people in these games.
Yeah, but a lot of them are aliens.
They're still showing rating pending.
Doesn't count.
Isn't that kind of late?
Hey, the entire multiplayer. Yeah. Remember, there was no playing as a Covenant in 4.
Yeah.
Spartans.
Yeah, I think it's gonna do pretty well. I think it's definitely gonna do better than Halo 4 did. But we'll see.
I didn't think Halo 4 was that bad. Just throwing that.
No. It was fine. I mean, it's another Halo game, but
it wasn't about being bad.
Yeah.
It was not about being as good as. It was not about living up to the same height.
Yeah.
But it really was.
Well, that's the other thing about Halo 4 that I thought with their presentation for the game, once again, I say they kind of said, hey, look at the Master Chief. They had a Spartan Ops thing that was, if you were looking for story base, it was so much better than the main story.
Yeah.
And it added so much. And from what I've seen of the story for 5, they're going off of that. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't be happier about that.
That's true. I think the only last thing as far as Halo we're gonna talk about before we wrap up, but is they have free DLC. They announced it.
But
Now,
they have microtransactions.
fair ones is the quote unquote fair.
Who's determined that they're fair?
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm not gonna use a
microtransaction. The best thing ever.
Yeah.
I think it is absolutely the best thing ever. So this is a parallel I kind of realized. You know who else is doing this same exact model?
Call of Duty? No.
Bungie.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
so for
but
Destiny, they're doing the same thing. They're doing free DLC with microtransactions for other stuff, so emotes, that kind of thing.
Which DLC though?
So they're supposedly for Destiny. That's why they put in the emotes and everything. So you're not going to have an expansion like you did the past 2 expansions.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have Taken King, you should be good for the next year with buying stuff. And then they're going to add story missions and add raids and add that stuff.
Okay.
Supported by the microtransactions, right? So that's the exact same thing Halo wants to do, where you have microtransactions for X, Y, or Z, which they haven't said. They've said some about, where it's like buying extra warthogs and that kind of thing, but you saw us unlock them in the game.
Yep.
Almost like a kill streak. But you're going to get maps. You're going to get those kind of things for free.
Yeah.
I think that's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I think that is the best of both worlds. Because you know what? I'm not buying any of that microtransaction crap. But all the people that do are going to pay for the map that I would not have bought.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not big on DLC, to be honest with you. I'm not. Because an online multiplayer shooter like this, I'm going to play it for maybe 3 months. And then they'll put out a map pack, right? And then this really weird thing happens that, one of my buddies bought it, so he's on the playlist that only has those maps. Yes. And then I go onto my playlist, and I'm like, oh shit, there's water of people.
That's what they said they were trying to
get away from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's brilliant if you could find a way to sustain your game and keep everybody playing together, your community together. Fucking brilliant move. Now we'll see what the microtransactions are and the cost as the game comes.
Yeah.
And what they become.
Yep, 100%. But for now, fuck it, I'm in. I love that so much better than having to buy a map.
Yeah, that's true. No, I can see that. Hopefully they stay that way. I mean, because, you can clearly see how the moment they see that the microtransactions aren't making them it isn't balancing the money they would make if they charge for the maps, is when they get a little greedy and they change their business model. But I don't think Bungie or Microsoft would do that, but it's other companies that might start off doing that will pivot and then just start, hey, we're charging for DLC again.
So Halo only committed to 1 year of free DLC. 1 year of free maps. They did not commit to past that. And so I actually think you're 100% right that that's what they're going to do. They're going to see if the microtransactions added up to enough money.
Yeah.
And if it did, I think they stay with free DLC. If it didn't, I think they release map packs again.
Now, do you think that they're releasing the same amount of maps or DLC that they were planning on it before they changed their model to have free DLC versus the charging for it? You know what I mean? Do you think I think they might have stretched it.
The reason is I think for something like this, I think it had to be planned from near the beginning.
Yeah.
It had to be something that was baked in. I don't see it being a tacked on thing where all of a sudden oh my God, because you got to think about the amount of numbers they already crunched, about I'm sure they put out surveys. I'm sure they put out looking at other multiplayer shooters to see what people would buy if they have microtransactions, what they won't buy, what they're looking at. There's no way they're shooting blind where they're like, hey guys, fuck it, it's Friday. I got an idea. We're going to have this shit. It's realistic.
It'd be good if they did that. I want to work there.
I'll go bankrupt.
Yeah.
So they put their time, they put effort into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I genuinely believe that this was a baked in idea. And I also believe the same for Destiny. Which, yet again, draw the parallel, 343 and Bungie. 343.
Well, there's all kinds of parallels between those two. So many parallels.
The already Halo shooter is doing the same thing as the Halo shooter.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. And then
it's like one of those things where they're like Microsoft, you know, it talks to Bungie. They're like, "Hey, I won't sue if you won't."
Yeah.
Because
like, all had this idea together.
Yeah.
You're off this. No, I mean,
it's like,
yeah, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, I'm excited for it.
Oh, it's so crazy. It's like I mean, it's all technically started with Metal Gear, and what else? I mean, NBA 2K, Madden. Like, no, just the fall season. It's already here.
Oh God, yeah.
But now, like, we're getting into Halo.
We're getting into
We're getting into No Life. That's what we're getting into. No Life.
Mine's been gone. And then, like, I don't even talk about, like, my Steam backlog and games that I keep putting on Steam on my wish list.
Yeah, stop doing it to yourself.
Soma. God, I want to play that.
Yeah.
And then there's another one, The Park, that just came out, which is another, like, horror game. It looks so freaking good. But
You've been really into horror games lately.
Yeah. So I realized, so from Twitch, I love Twitch, watch Twitch all the time. And from it, I've realized I really like horror games. Like, really like horror. It's just like that controlled scare.
Yeah.
And then I also realized that Resident Evil is just a inventory sim, so I will not be playing that.
Which one?
The first one.
Well, yeah, but it felt really good to play the first one.
I believe you.
Now they're remaking Resident Evil 0, which I never played, and I'm excited about. Yeah, and Resident Evil 2.
Resident Evil 0 is the train, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That was on GameCube? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was only on GameCube? Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Look at GameCube go. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
The thing that could, huh?
Yeah. That was the one thing that, like, well, that and Twin
hits.
Snakes. Yeah.
Twin Snakes.
They had their hits. Twin Snakes was on GameCube only.
And Resident Evil 4 on GameCube was like ultra easy mode.
Ultra. Yeah. Why do you need ultra easy mode? Because you're a bitch.
No, if you played the game on the GameCube, there were 2 buttons.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you tried to play it on the, because remember GameCube got it first.
Yeah.
And then trying to play it on the PlayStation was just like, oh my God, they want me to use all the buttons.
How crazy. Resident Evil 4 was like regarded the best game. The graphics were out of the world, and it was on the GameCube that everyone just shit on.
Yeah.
Like, everybody just talked shit and talked about how bad it was. And then Resident Evil 4 came, and people were like, well, whatever, it's still shit.
No, there's definitely a couple games that I enjoyed on the GameCube. When I borrowed my cousin's because I didn't have my own. So.
I remember, I love my GameCube.
Yeah. So I guess we'll wrap up from here. You guys playing anything new?
You already know, man. Until dawn, just fucking waiting, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully get through that by next week.
Previews of XCOM 2 have me playing XCOM 1.
It happens. And I got back into Metal Gear, and
terrible game.
I finally get to use Quiet as a companion. I'm so excited.
Heard good things.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. I heard you don't actually use her. You just like sip tea and have some biscuits while she just kills everybody.
I haven't used her yet, so I'll let you know. I'm sure that's how it is because she's.
I heard from it. There's not really much using goes involved with her.
Although I don't know how her guns work. I gotta see. I don't know. I'll probably stream it.
You have a trigger.
Yeah.
And then you pull the trigger.
Yeah, the scope. There's a scope. It's like this glass thing.
And it works.
Yeah.
It does things.
Yeah.
See, if you guys can look at her and still notice the gun, you're doing it all wrong.
Oh. Anyway.
Gotta breathe through her skin, man.
Yeah. She's got it. She drinks through her skin too.
Yeah.
Oh,
imagine just throwing her in a pool of vodka. Just fucking.
Oh man, that would kill anyone, don't you think? Or it'd be a good time. I don't know.
One of the three.
So if you guys didn't notice, we have a new layout. So just let us know what you think, in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe. You see our Twitter tags there, and we have a website now where we'll be posting stuff, periodically along with the episodes and everything. So yeah, we'll catch you guys next week. Be on the lookout for our bonus video. We're gonna do debate topics in video games and things like that. So we're kind of excited about doing it, and it should be fun. So we'll see you guys next time, and bye.